Welcome back to another Chris and Retro signature moment. I had a friend of mine today that went viral. You would think that'd be a good thing on the business platform LinkedIn. It was pretty interesting to me, actually. He'd send me a private message. I hadn't seen his post, and he every now and then will message back and forth, and he said something about a post that he had just posted. I said, I hadn't seen it yet, but I'll go take a look. I went out and saw this post. It didn't really strike me as all that offensive or really anything to get people triggered up about. So his viral post has turned out to not be positive attention for him, and it really based on one word. I looked, and he had almost 800 likes, loves, whatever's, the clapped hands ones on LinkedIn. He had very few of those. Most of them are angry faces and laughs and those types of things about this post, almost to the tune of 800 responses. That's completely unheard of for his post. At most, he's getting 50, 60 at a time. So people were really upset. And the post basically was this, that he's in recruiting, and he's seeing candidates not really put the effort in they want for their dream job. The problem was, he says, that candidates are being lazy in their preparation, and that they're not doing the work they need to do to get their dream job, and then expecting that people are going to give them more opportunities and more information to make sure that they get the role that they're looking for. Now, I'm not sure that I would necessarily agree with every single thing that was in his post, but I'm also not an expert in that area. But what was interesting to me is that the rants that people would go on based on one word, the word lazy. It triggered everybody. There were comments after comments on there, and some of his own employees were stepping up on his behalf. And when they would do that, there were comments in there. One in particular stood out. The person told the other employee, a female employee, it's okay if you're in trouble, blink 3 times, implying that she was a hostage to a toxic boss. Well, I know this individual. I know he's not a toxic boss. I know he's an incredible boss. But his comment around lazy triggered everybody. Now, why does that matter for Chris and Retro, or for you guys for that matter? And honestly, other than just being an interesting story that a friend of mine that finally went viral in a way that he probably didn't want to. It really boils down to this. I guess you could look at it from a couple different ways. But the one that it struck home with me is that when we're going through a challenge, so let's just say that actually many of the people on there were citing job loss and challenges getting jobs in the work they were doing. So if that's the case, and you're not finding success with your current path, and all of these months and years leading up to that post, you obviously are tired, and language is probably going to frustrate you a little. But whatever you've done to that point has not worked. You've done something that didn't work. Now, granted, outside circumstances play heavily into it. You can't control a company's decisions. You can't control a hiring manager's decision. But you can control you and what you're willing to do with your own path, and the rigorous effort that you'll put to make sure that you get something out of your work. So wouldn't you be open to any advice out there, regardless if the word lazy was used or not? Take the point of what was made. His point was actually just saying, if you really want this, go to any length. Prepare. Prepare as if you're in a competition. Prepare more than your competitors that are going for the exact same role, and make such a compelling case that you are the choice. I wanted to share that with you today because in those cases when we are struggling, sometimes hope comes from advice and people that we don't necessarily want to listen to. Maybe circumstances even, but you can glean things out of it. There's a common phrase in the 12-step meetings that, you may not like every single thing you hear, but take what you can out of it, leave something and go home. I mean, that's a big part of it, because you're around people you don't necessarily get along with. But there is going to be advice there, or there are going to be elements that you're going to glean and go home. Hope you enjoyed the content. Please like, subscribe. We'd love to have you keep joining the show for more Chris and Retro signature moments. But at the same time, tune in for our monthly events. We have several guests coming up that I think you'll find interesting with their own stories of how they've found recovery, or they've found how they've managed other people's situations when they've been struggling. And look back at some of the episodes we've recently completed. The Congressman Reed's second episode just dropped last week. Some of his stories about January 6th and what he experienced, as well as some of the hope and the security he's found in his new life. Thanks again for tuning in. I look forward to talking to you again soon.